Hinduism is it's broad-based. It does not differentiate. It does not create walls between human beings.
We believe that every religion is valid, that the passion within each religion is what's important and not what name they call the god.
It is the small mind that thinks that this is mine and that is yours. But the one with the greater consciousness thinks that the whole world is one family.
Hinduism has generally not been organized around a creed, around an official statement of doctrines.
Anybody can call himself as Hindu because we have no restrictions at all.
How would I characterize God? At its essence is Brahman. God is not characterizable. He is without attributes, without form, totally beyond our perception.
In Sanskrit, they call it as Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. That means God is only one, but we are calling for different names. For example, we in Hinduism, we call him as Brahman or the Supreme Being.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Hinduism. One is that we are polytheistic. God takes different forms depending on which job he has to do. So like a man can be a husband, a father, and a fireman. He's the same man, but is called by different things depending on what he does. And so that's what God is like when he's Brahma and Vishnu and Shiva. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, and Shiva is the destroyer, the compassionate destroyer.
The one Supreme Being or the divine is permeating the whole universe.
So we have a little spark of God within us, and that is called the Atman.
But the Hinduism is very ancient, and in fact it goes to the pre-recorded history.
Most Hindus in the world are in India. That's basically where Hinduism started. The oldest texts probably date to something like 1500 BCE.
Our sacred texts there are several actually, the literature is vast in Hinduism. But the basic scriptures are Vedas and Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. The truths are eternal, but the prophets and messengers are born again and again to reveal the same truths to the mankind so that the mankind leads in the right direction. So that's why we believe there are many prophets and messengers born from age to age.
We believe in Dharma, which is the necessity of righteous living, of living and seeing God within everybody and doing our duty to society.
Whatever you do, you have to reap the consequences of those actions. Just like even in physics, they say every action evokes equal and opposite reaction.
We believe in karma, which is the universal law of cause and effect. We believe in rebirth, in reincarnation.
Rebirth comes to be looked upon as a kind of a trap that you should try and escape from. If you really understood what life was all about, you would want to escape from being born and dying over and over again.
The end goal to Hinduism is moksha, liberation from life and death, and merging with God.
Selfishness binds us to this world. This selflessness or unselfishness liberates us from this world.
We have this veil of Maya, or illusion, which gives us the idea that we are separate from God.
When you see the divinity in everything, and when you see everything in the divine, that means you have achieved perfection. That is the final goal. That means you are closer to God.
Unlike the Western religions, we do not believe in an intrinsic evil. We have goodness as inherent in the universe.
There are no sinners. It does not address the mankind as sinners, as some faiths do. We are divine. The spark of divinity exists in us.
In Hinduism, the universe is constantly being created, preserved, destroyed, and recreated. There is no heaven or hell.
So with the death, everything does not come to an end. It's only a stepping stone for the other life.
Hindus worship at the temple and at home.
Some Hindu books talk about there being three main paths that people follow, or three main orientations or approaches in Hinduism. Path of action, you follow caste rules and sponsor rituals to attain a higher rebirth. A path of knowledge, the goal is to escape from rebirth altogether, to attain liberation, and you meditate and renounce society. And there's a third path, a path of devotion. The goal of devotion is to escape rebirth again, but to attain union with a god or a goddess.
In our worship services, there are 16 steps they go through. You worship through rituals, surrender yourself to God, both physically and mentally.
The puja is really there for the devotee.
It's often the job of the priest there to conduct rituals for people, making offerings to gods and goddesses whose statues are set up in the temple.
In the formless state, God is infinite. When He is invisible, it's very difficult for the ordinary masses to visualize that infinite, formless God.
Our mind wanders incessantly. So during the puja, we have something to concentrate on. We have something to shower our affection on.
You invite God your presence first. Like you clean up everything. Just like suppose, let's say, President Obama comes to your house. What do? You clean the whole thing, right? Make it attractive and decorative, whatnot. Similarly, clean the shrine. And then you invite God to your presence. Offer Him a seat. Offer Him water to quench His thirst. Wash His hands, feet, like that, right?
We treat God like a king at temple. We perform abhishekam, which is a bath of all the sweetest liquids we have. We give Him our best food and our best flowers. We give Him incense and chant His name. All of the stuff that we do, all of the rituals we do, are tools to help us find God within ourselves.